NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu, NamRA Kachenu, NamRA nchi yetu.
NamRA, serving with passion.
Hello and welcome to this edition of NamRA Kachenu, your trusted source in all things related to tax, customs and excise matters. I'm Shipena Njambikohanga and I'm delighted to be your host for the next half an hour or so. In recent developments, NamRA firms up relations with the Chinese customs body. Another fraudulent tax refund scheme uncovered. Last but not the least, income tax deadline approaches. All that and more coming up shortly. The Namibia Revenue Agency signed a cooperation agreement with the General Administration of Customs of China to firm up relations and joint activities.
Kutako International Airport, Namibia Revenue Agency. Today we have the honor of welcoming the Vice Minister of China Customs in Namibia. This is the first time that we are welcoming him in Namibia. This follows our visit to China on the 12th of December 2024, where we have then agreed that we need to cooperate and strengthen our cooperation between Namibia Revenue Agency and General Administration of China Customs. And this cooperation that we would want to foster is really rooted into the comprehensive strategic cooperation partnership between Namibia and China that was agreed in 2018 March, where we have agreed to work together. As you may have heard that China is one of the top export and import destination. Namibia's top export and import destination. They are the second only to South Africa, both in terms of import and export. And we do a lot of trade. In Namibia, we have always been a traditional friend of China. And I think because of a lot of trade and increased in volume of trade between our two countries, it's higher time that we then need to come together and engage or try to have what we call a memorandum of understanding.
中国呢，在智慧海关建设方面，有一些经验，我们也很愿意与你们分享。
China Customs have experience in the construction of smart customs. We'd like to share the experience with your side.
进一步加强单一窗口的合作，
We'd like to cooperate more on single window cooperation.
探讨开展智慧海关合作，推介智慧海关合作伙伴计划。
We'd like to explore cooperation on smart customs and promote the smart customs partnership program.
探讨在全球智慧海关在线合作平台框架下开展合作。
And explore cooperation on the global smart customs.
The Namibia Revenue Agency cautions taxpayers about the risk of sharing personal information, thus following the uncovering of the fraudulent tax refund scheme, which to date resulted in illegal payouts of over 666,000 Namibian dollars to 47 individuals.
Good day and thank you for the opportunity. I think what is important here is just to inform the public that there has been some fraudulent activities linked to the payment of tax refund, and this activity involved NamRA staff as well as the individual people. We have detected this scheme and there has been arrests, and 3 of them appeared in court, and those are outside people that are not employed by the NamRA. But 2 employees of NamRA have so far been suspended from their employment pending the investigations. But what we want to caution is the public or the taxpayer not to share their ID or identity document or banking details with anyone, especially when it comes to tax refund related business. So please make sure that you do not share your information, your personal information, as it might be used for some illicit activities. So NamRA does not call people asking for banking details or identity documents in the name of paying out tax refund. The refund is paid out directly from the NamRA offices or approved platforms. So please make sure that you are very vigilant and know that we will not call you to ask for banking details. So this is just what we want our taxpayers to know.
As the 30th of June deadline for income tax returns approaches, it is crucial for both employers and taxpayers to fulfill their tax obligations. Now joining us today is Ms. Frida Moine, the Senior Manager for Regional Operations at NamRA, who is here to remind us and encourage employers and individuals for salary persons and pensioners to comply with the due date and submit their tax returns on time.
Good day, my name is Frida Moine, Senior Manager, Regional Operations, Domestic Taxes. As responsible citizens of the country, we all need to comply to the laws of the country. Therefore, it is equally important that we need to comply to the tax laws to avoid being penalized for non-compliance for not submitting the returns on time. Tax compliance is crucial because it ensures that NamRA collects all necessary revenue to fund public services and infrastructure. Non-compliance can lead to legal consequences, penalties, and damage one's financial standing. Employers should provide Pay-as-you-earn 5 certificates to their employees in time for them to submit their tax returns. It is expected by law that the employers provide Pay-as-you-earn 5 certificates within 30 days after the year end. By giving the employees tax certificates in time will also allow them to submit their returns effective from April until June every year. NamRA recommends and equally encourages taxpayers to register as e-filers on ITAS portal to submit their returns from wherever they are in the world. Equally, we encourage those that are not e-filers to visit our regional offices nationwide or contact the call center at 081 959 4000. Not submitting your returns on time can have other consequences except being penalized. You will not be able to be refunded if your return is outstanding. Equally, you will not be issued with a good standing certificate or a tax clearance certificate if your return is outstanding. Let us all do our part and be compliant taxpayers to positively impact the livelihoods of every Namibian. Thank you.
After the break, we'll be joined by Mr. Petrus Niinkoti, the Senior Procurement Officer within the Corporate Services Department at NamRA. Welcome back. Joining us in the studio is Mr. Petrus Niinkoti, Senior Procurement Officer within the Corporate Services Department at NamRA. Petrus, it's an honor to have you join us today and a very warm welcome to NamRA Kachenu.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Now let's kick off this session with a brief introduction of yourself.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your professional background.
Thank you, NamRA Kachenu, for having me. My name is Petrus Niinkoti. I am the Senior Procurement Officer within the Procurement Management Unit under the Corporate Service. Before joining NamRA, I worked at the Central Procurement Board of Namibia and as well as Namibia Institute of Pathology, still within the Procurement Department. I have over 7 years experience in procurement as a seasoned procurement profession. I have substantial experience in a contract negotiation, and also I've learned procurement dynamics over the years. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that. That is so impressive.
All right.
Now, can you take us through the NamRA procurement process? What are some of the steps that bidders have to follow to basically ensure that they meet all the necessary requirements?
The procurement cycle starts with need identification, where procurement department received a request from the user department, where after need identification has been identified, and then the procurement has now to kickstart. From there, invitations is sent to the prospective bidders for quotations, and then upon receipt of quotations, evaluation is done thereof, where now focus will be on if the price is market related, and then to see now if the bidders is meeting our specifications, and then if they are also complying with our delivery terms. So that is the first step, and then thereafter the bid is now evaluated under the bid evaluation committee, where now it also goes through other internal procurement structure, and thereafter it goes for approval by the accounting officer, and then an award letter is issued to the successful bidder, so that when an award letter is issued, the bidder now will be now required to deliver the goods or commodity as per the agreed delivery period. And then the final step is now payment, where the successful bidder will be required to submit the invoice, and then payment will be done thereof. So thank you.
Great. Now, with that said, what are some of the common mistakes that bidders make during the procurement process, and how can some of these pitfalls be avoided to basically increase their chances of success?
What we have observed during the procurement process, the common mistake that we have picked up from the participating bidder, is mostly the late submission from the bidders. Bidders are not submitting their bids on time as per the stipulated time in the bidding document. The bidder also, they are not submitting all the required mandatory documents as prescribed or as requested in the bidding document. They are also not paying attention to the instruction given in the bidding document, which also now give their bids non-responsive. And also the other mistake that bidders do is not paying attention to the allocated marks as per each evaluation criteria, where now they end up missing out on some of the marks allocated, which eventually they will not be able to get or to obtain a minimum scoring mark that will now lead them to the next stage of evaluation. So what we have alluded to the bidder is that they must pay attention to the evaluation as set forth in the bidding document, and then they must make sure that all the mandatory documents are submitted. Let me say, if we are requesting a bidder to have a certification or a certificate as part of mandatory document, they must submit that, because as failure would deem their bid non-responsive.
Now, I'm sure that as a senior procurement officer, there are a variety of challenges that you encounter on a daily basis, right? What are some of those significant challenges that you can highlight, and how do you overcome them?
As a procurement, in procurement environment, we are faced with a number of challenges on a daily basis. One of them is that the bidders are not complying with the delivery period. You would find that in their quotation, they will tell you, we are going to deliver this type of product within 14 days. But then after 14 days, they will not be able to comply with that specified delivery period, which now faced with the challenge of not getting the goods or commodity on time. The other challenge is that bidders have a tendency of not providing or supplying the correct product of the sample that they provided during the bidding process. So let me say we required during the bidding process bidders to submit their sample so that that the quality is checked. So during the supplying of the goods, you find now the bidder is deviating from the product that they indicated that they are going to provide, which now compromised on the quality of the product. So those are some of the challenges we are faced with, and to overcome this, what we do is now we return the goods to the supplier so that they can provide us with the right goods that is meeting our specifications as per the agreed terms during the bidding process. So thank you.
Great. Now, how does NamRA ensure a fair and transparent procurement process? And how do you, in your role as a senior procurement officer, maintain these standards?
NamRA published the bids on our website and all the social media platforms where the bidding documents are published there for bidders to see the information and the evaluation criteria. So this information is shared to all the bidders. They have got all the information in their hand. It's not to say it's only given to specific bidder. No. So, and our processes are also governed by the standard operating procedure in terms of bid submission, bid opening, evaluation of bids, and award. And also we have got independent bid evaluation, which is appointed by the commissioner, the accounting officer, to sit on the evaluations for the bids within NamRA, and also those bids are tabled through various internal structure, such as the procurement committee that makes recommendation to the commissioner, the accounting officer, for approval of award. And our standard bidding document has got evaluation criteria that are fixed. So this means that the bid evaluation committee, they do not have a mandate to alter such evaluation criteria to suit a specific bidder. So those are some of the standard procedure that we have in place for transparency and fairness.
Now, what advice or tips would you share with potential bidders out there who are new to the NamRA procurement process to basically assist them in better preparing the submission of bids?
Okay. What I would say is they should constantly visit our website, because we published our bids on a weekly basis. And what they can do is they are welcome to download the bidding documents. They go through the bid requirements. They must pay attention to each and every evaluation criteria set forth in the bidding document, because the evaluation will actually be based on those evaluation criteria. So one of our mandatory requirements is that they must provide a good standing with NamRA. So my advice or warning to them is that they must always make sure they submit a valid good standing certificate for NamRA, because these good standing are verified by our team of expertise in NamRA on ITAS. And if found that one of the bidder has forged the good standing, they will be dealt with by our investigation team, where if found to be indeed having forged the good standing, a case will be open with the Namibian police and also the Anti-Corruption Commission. And in addition, that bidder will be suspended from participating in any NamRA bid. So thank you.
Great. Now, it's obvious that procurement proceedings often require an in-depth understandings of the regulations and policies that are in place. How can bidders stay informed about the changes in these regulations? What resources are available to them to assist them now? And last but not the least, what platforms does NamRA normally uses for advertising bids?
What I have, as I have mentioned earlier, is that we issued our bidding documents on or published them on social media and a website, and also at least in 2 newspapers widely circulated. So what we do is that those bidding documents have got a clear instruction to each and every bidder that they should follow. And then if they do not understand any criteria set forth in the bidding document, they are welcome to seek clarification. We have got a clarification email, which is procurement clarification at namra.org.na. So they can always send clarification to that email, and then we respond.
Any final remarks or message to our bidders out there, please?
The final message that I have for the prospective bidder that would want to do business with NamRA is that they should visit our website on a daily basis, and then they should download the bidding document on our social media platform and the website. I have a clear message to prospective bidder to say, when you are submitting your bids to NamRA, make sure that your NamRA good standing is indeed valid and really issued from our ITAS system, because we have got a team of expertise that sits on our bid evaluation committee to verify this the good standing on ITAS. And if found that a certain bidder has forged this good standing certificate, that bidder will be dealt with accordingly, and then case with the Namibian police will eventually be opened, and as well as the Anti-Corruption Commission. NamRA is in a process of coming up with a digital supplier registration system where bidders will be accorded opportunity to register their company on the system with a possible of being listed on NamRA database, to be added on NamRA database for a period of a number of years. Could be 1, 2, or 3 years in future. So please just keep an eye. Thank you.
Petrus, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate the insights, and it's been a pleasure having you on the show. We wish you continued success in your role.
Thank you so much.
Great.
All right.
Now, that was Mr. Petrus Niinkoti, a Senior Procurement Officer within the Corporate Services Department. We'll take a short break for now, but when we return, we'll dive into educational topics and share some useful tips for our taxpayers and traders. Be sure to stick around. In the next insert, we'll focus on the process for pre-clearance of goods at land borders and how businesses can ensure that they remain compliant before they cross the borders.
Greetings, I am Marinja Gavanas, a Customs and Excise Officer at Arons Lane Border Post. Did you know that you can submit your customs documentation before your consignment arrival? Yes, it is referred to as pre-clearance. I am here to explain the process, the benefits, and the steps to be taken at every point of entry. Pre-clearance is referred to as the process that allows traders to submit customs documentation and receive approval from customs authority prior to their goods arriving at the borders. What are the benefits of pre-clearance? Reduces waiting time at the borders, allows fast processing and clearance of goods, reduces extra cost for businesses, provides traders with clear guidelines and expectations for compliance, allows customs to conduct risk management assessments before goods arrive at the borders. All traders who meet the specific criteria set out by the Namibian Revenue Agency can do pre-clearance. The steps for pre-clearance before goods arrive at the borders are: Step 1, submission. All traders through their clearing agent should submit their documentation. Step 2, risk assessment. The checking officer verifies the validity of the submitted documents and forward it for assessment and collection of duties and taxes where applicable. Upon goods arriving at the border, Step 3, original supporting documents are attached and submitted for final inspection. Step 4, the enforcement officer verifies the declared consignment against the submitted documents and upon compliance, release the consignment. Required for submissions are: single administrative document referred to as the SAT 500, commercial invoice, bill of landing or airway bill, clearing and forwarding instruction form signed by both traders and agent, any relevant permits and certificates where required. Therefore, we encourage all traders to take advantage of the pre-clearance process as it helps speed up the movement of goods, reduces delay, and enhances trade facilitation. Thank you.
Now let's look at the requirements for the manufacturing of excisable goods and how businesses can meet these regulations.
Good day, viewers. My name is Isai Koishua, Principal Customs and Excise Officer under Subdivision Excise Management Unit. Today we are going to discuss about what are requirements for manufacturing of excisable products and what should business do or should to ensure that they are complying with customs regulation in relation to excisable products. Now, first of all, before we go to the requirements, I just want to share with you what is excise tax. Excise tax is an indirect tax levied or imposed on imported or locally produced goods within Namibia. Now, there are different types of excise tax. One is a specific excise duty. The example of specific excise duty is alcoholic beverage, like beer, spirits, wine, as well as tobacco products, that is charged or imposed under Schedule 1, Part 2A of Customs and Excise Act. The other duty is ad valorem excise duty that is charged under Schedule 1, Part 2B. Example of it is goods are considered luxurious goods, namely electronic, cell phones, cosmetic, and perfumes, and so forth. Now, what are the requirements? The provision, legal provisions. Any person that intend to involve in manufacturing of excisable products need to register or to be licensed as a manufacturing customs and excise warehouse. That is under Section 19 of Customs and Excise Act. And the license is issued under Section 67, read in conjunction with Schedule 8 of Customs and Excise Act. Section 68 made provision for a commissioner to determine the security which the applicant need to pay in order to ensure or secure the duty at risk once you have been given that license. The determination of that security depends on type of goods as well as the risk involved. Now, what do you need when you want to involve in the manufacturing of accessible product? You need to apply, submit your application in writing, to the division trade facilitation, that they will be able to scrutinize your application form and provide you with all the relevant information that you need. And once you fulfill with all requirements, you will be given a license number that is unique to that specific license and to that specific warehouse. How should business do in order to comply? It's very important to note that any business needs to familiarize themselves with all the customs requirements, and that can be done through stakeholder engagement, through any educational platforms. And also I advise that any business or any trader need to engage or visit any nearest customs office in order to obtain all the information in relation to accessible products. Finally, you are welcome to engage the Excise Management Unit at NamRA.org.na. We will be able to provide with any query in relation to any excise.
Did you know the Namibian Income Tax Act allows for objection and appeal procedures if a taxpayer disputes an assessment?
Do you need to make a payment for tax debt? Well, here are the available options for payment.
My name is Angela Kamui, Senior Revenue Treasury Officer at NamRA. I'm going to take you through the process of making payments to our NamRA offices. We have 4 modes of payments which are acceptable at our offices, which are direct deposits, cash payments, electronic fund transfers, and speed points machines. When making electronic fund transfers, we have 2 accounts available for our taxpayers, which is Receiver of Revenue, account 165001, and the VAT dedicated account 165060. When making a direct deposit, our taxpayers need to fill this deposit slip at their commercial bank. You need to have your TIN with you. The TIN consists of 8 characters, and then you should also know the period that you are making the payment for. When making an electronic fund transfer, for your penalty or interest liability due to NamRA, you use the EFT referencing example as shown on the screen. It also has 19 characters. But on the tax type and tax period, you put 999, indicating that the payment is account payment. When making electronic fund transfers, EFT referencing example is shown on the screen, which comprises of 19 characters. The taxpayer reference number comprises of 5 parameters, which are as follows. 1. Represent the payment method, in this case, EFT payment. 06. Office of registration or your return office. The 8th character represents your tax identification number. 14 is tax type, in this case, employees tax. 2018-06 is the tax period for which the payment is meant for.
In our previous episode, we asked, what is the email address where suppliers can reach the finance department for any payment-related inquiries? The answer is accountspayable@namra.org.na. The question for this episode is, what are the main platforms where NamRA advertise bids? Kindly email your answer to NamRA Kachenu at namra.org.na. The due date for submission is the 3rd of June 2025. We will announce the winner in the next episode.
And with that, we conclude this edition of NamRA Kachenu. We trust that the information shared has been both valuable and insightful. Join us again in 2 weeks' time for the latest updates and discussions. But until then, stay informed, stay compliant. And from all of us here at NamRA Kachenu, goodbye.